Pocket FM.
To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.
Baroness, James muttered. Still in disbelief, the woman before him could accuse him of such a thing when she was the one to walk here on her own 2 feet to suspect him. Why would she go to such lengths to have him killed? All because he did not want to lose her. Why was he being punished for having enough morals to not sleep with a married woman? If I were to run out and cry to the other servants, they would call the town guards to have you dragged out. What a pretty sight that would be, to watch you plead your case. But you know something, James? No one will ever believe you. Katrina wiped away the tears she easily forced out. You are just a butler. Your life means nothing compared to mine, a baroness. That is why you have to climb up the social ladder like I have, and I will continue to do so with your help. I won't go crying to anyone about what you have— I did nothing to you, James stopped her. Always knew she was sly, but to speak as if he had really done something to her really showed how much of a fox she was. According to my eyes and the eyes of my maid, that is not true. How evil of you to not feel guilty for what you tried to do to me. To think we sheltered such a monster in our home for so long. You could have harmed my daughter at any time. Maybe you already did and silenced Kate with your threats. Katrina gasped, using her hand to cover her mouth. Your daughter knows I have never been inappropriate with her. Are you truly evil to do this to a man because he rejected you? I am a good man, Baroness. The words you are uttering can have me killed, and my mother yelled at me for as long as she lives, said James. He was concerned about what would happen to his mother if this lie would spread. Such a rumor, whether true or false, would ruin him. Well, you should listen to me well if you wish to save your mother from being tormented for raising a monster. I shall ask you this one last time, and if you do not answer, I will alert the servants of what you did. Where did my husband run off to? Katrina was burning with curiosity to have the answer. Desmond was at the back, wagging its tail as the master called for it. He never allowed anyone to summon him out of his home at the time of night, unless that person was the king. Anyone else would have to visit her husband. He went to William Lancaster's mansion. James lowered his head, unable to look at Katrina as he told the Baron's business. William? Is it about Alessandra? Katrina ran her thumb against her bottom lip as she pondered the reason for Desmond hurrying off to William so late in the night. William must be impatient. That is good news for Kate. If they could get Alessandra sent off to wed William before the Duke could arrive for her, the Duke could do nothing but look for another wife. Kate would be right there as a new option. I have answered your questions, Baroness. Please leave me. With the answer given, James thought her business with him was done. Oh, but we are not done yet, James. Your life is in the palm of my hands. I can hold on to what you did to me for as long as I want, and then reach my breaking point, crying to my husband about the horrid deed. You are now more loyal to me than my husband. I have sent a man to watch your mother, just in case you have thoughts of running, said Katrina. James looked up in horror at this revelation. Do not touch my mother. That all depends on you, James. Here. Katrina pulled out a bottle from her sleeves and handed it to him. Put a tiny drop in my husband's food each day, starting tomorrow. Do it until he can no longer stand on his 2 feet without help. Why not Alessandra? James asked as he took the bottle. He expected Katrina would also want to get rid of her. Katrina replied to his question with a smile. This wasn't her first time doing something to this degree. It would be suspicious for Alessandra and her husband to die out of nowhere. Katrina did not need to haze Alessandra, as the cursed child would soon be out of her sight. By the time her husband died, Alessandra would already be married to William and never be able to set foot in this house.
How are you so sure I won't put this in your food instead?
James asked as he inspected the small brown bottle. Because you know I won't hesitate to eat your mother if I feel the slightest bit sick. You know, all of this could have been avoided if you answered my question in the first place, Katrina said, feeling a bit of sympathy towards him. She wouldn't have gone to such lengths if James was a proper man. Perhaps they would have arranged before she would make the sweet promise of raising his position in society if he pledged loyalty to her. Working for me will give you rewards you have always dreamed of. Make me proud, James, or I shall have the town guards hang you. Good night. Katrina proceeded to leave his room. Her skin crawled the entire time she stayed in the servants' quarters. It was beneath her to be in such a place, but it was needed for her to be here if she was going to use James to poison her husband. The butler had control of the food going in and out of the kitchen, so it wouldn't be suspicious for him to be around the Baron's food. Katrina regretted not disciplining James long before, so he would be more loyal to her. Do you wish for me to watch his door for the rest of the night, Baroness? Crystal, a middle woman who had been Katrina's personal maid for 5 years, asked with her head low. James won't be leaving his room to speak to anyone. I have dealt with men like him before. He is scared out of his mind and will do as I say to protect his mother. Eventually, he will try to get something grand out of this. He will realize I will either or continue to keep him by my side in the future. The outcome depends on what he does tomorrow. Here. Katrina took off a ring from her finger and tossed it to Crystal. For your continuous loyalty. Thank you, Baroness. Your kindness knows no bounds. Crystal dropped to the floor to show her thanks to Katrina. Katrina continued to walk, ignoring the usual compliment she would get after paying Crystal. Her maid saw the ring as a kind gesture, but Katrina saw it differently. If her plans were to be exposed and anyone started to question why her maid had expensive jewelry, Katrina would claim Crystal had been stealing them from her. She would claim Crystal threatened to expose the shameful thing James tried to do to her if she wasn't given jewelry. Besides Kate, no one else mattered in Katrina's eyes. In this cruel world, she had to be cruel to get what she wanted. Playing the role of a woman madly in love with the newly divorced Baron was her most successful plot to this day. However, she was not done yet. Everything the Baron owned needed to belong to her and Kate. Katrina halted, suddenly remembering one last thing she needed to do as a backup in case she read James wrong and he would try telling the Baron of what she did. Crystal, she turned to her maid. We must get to my bedroom quickly. I am too old to be dealing with all of this, Desmond muttered as he waltzed into his bedroom the next day. William made him stay the night to have drinks and brought a few women from the red light district to entertain them. No matter how many times he mentioned going home, William ignored him, and eventually, morning was upon them.
This is the shock of the century. 2 powerful men are fighting over Alessandra. What is there not to like about Kate? Where on earth is this woman?
He looked around the empty bedroom for his wife. At this time, Katrina would now be waking up. Desmond took a seat on the edge of the bed to take off his boots. He had no time to rest as there was work to do. He needed to prepare Alessandra to be sent to William's home in the night, when no one would see. You are late. Katrina glared at her husband when her eyes fell on him as she exited the bathroom.
Can it even be counted as late when my husband left in a hurry last night and came back in the morning? Were you with a woman? Katrina, do not be ridiculous. Why would I entertain a woman when there is a possibility you would hang me by my balls to a tree?
Katrina covered her nose as the stench of wine filled the room. The more Desmond spoke.
You were drinking.
Desmond placed his boots on the side of the bed for a maid to move later.
I am allowed to have a drink here and there. Not even my mother would be able to scold me for it if she were alive. Do not think being my wife grants you that privilege. Believe me, Desmond, I do not think it does. You could at least tell me where the hell you were running off to so late in the night so I wouldn't be concerned. You would wish to know where I was going if I were the one to rush out, said Katrina. Well, obviously, it is different for a woman. You cannot just leave home at night when so many women are disappearing and the culprit has not been caught. And as a wife, where would you be going when your husband is right here? I don't have the tolerance to deal with you this morning, woman.
Desmond abruptly stood up, taking off his shirt to prepare for a bath.
You insufferable man! I am disgusted by the sight of you. Do you think the other husbands treat their wives this way?
Katrina exclaimed, annoyed with the constant secrecy on Desmond's end.
I would not know, since I do not think about them. I have a lot on my mind, and the last thing I need is you yelling at me as soon as I arrive home. Give me a break.
Desmond sighed, sitting back down on the bed to rest his head in the palm of his hands.
I have found myself in trouble. Then tell me what is happening so I can share your burden. That is why I am upset with you.
Katrina walked to the bed and sat down next to him. She was curious to know what had happened between him and William. She ran her hand up and down his back to calm his nerves. Talk to me, my sweet husband.
We have to send her away tonight. Alessandra, I mean. William wishes to take her, and then he would give us more money for this exchange, or have my neck if she does not go with him. Do you see why I have no time to argue with you?
Desmond looked at his wife.
Then we shall give her to him and take the money.
Katrina did not see what was so difficult for him to be in this state.
Did you spend all of the one he gave you before? No, I invested it properly this time, and it is showing to be a good idea. The money has doubled, but it is not enough to pay back William. If I had a bit more time, it could triple, and then we would be back on our feet. I promised her to William last night because of his threats, but now I am more concerned about Edgar.
Now that Desmond wasn't so close to William that the man could hurt his leg, reality hit him with who he should be more scared of.
William was a cruel man, but Edgar was a monster. Why? You promised William you would have her tonight, so you should stick to your promise. Edgar should know he cannot interfere with what a father chooses for his daughter. Alessandra does not have a ring on her finger from Edgar. Place one for William on her hand. We need the money William is offering. The money from the residents on your land won't be here in time to put us back on our feet, said Katrina. She wanted the money William was offering in their hands, so when Desmond died, it would belong to her. Let's hope we do not see Edgar until tomorrow. That is the only way I can survive this, Katrina. Desmond became alerted when he saw something alarming, now that he got a good look at the woman beside him. What happened to your neck? Oh. Katrina traced the marks she ordered Crystal to make on her skin last night. They were right above her breast, and thanks to the loose nightdress, it was clear as day for Desmond to see. It is nothing. She pulled up the dress to cover the marks. Nothing? It looks as if someone hurt you. Did someone harm you while I was away? Desmond's blood started to boil. No one was to ever lay a hand on his wife. Who could disrespect him like this? Who did it? Give me a name right away. Was it Alessandra? I do not wish to speak about it, Desmond. Please give me time. Give you time? Someone has hurt you, and you are talking about time? Fine, keep quiet, but I will find someone who can tell me what happened while I was away. Where is James? Desmond knew James would be able to find out about it for him. Desmond, you should not get sidetracked like this. You have other things to worry about. Katrina tried to reason with him. I cannot let someone get away with hurting my wife, and they'll think it is right to do it to Kate. Why are you protecting this person, Katrina? Did they threaten you with something? Desmond, I will tell you about it after we have given William what he wants. We have no time to be going after others when there is someone trying to kill you. I promise I will tell you about it tonight. Please, drop it for now. Katrina held his hands, rubbing the back of them with her thumb to calm him down. On the inside, Katrina was smiling, since she got the reaction she was looking for. This would be her evidence if James were to speak of last night. I want the person front and center to be dealt with after Alessandra is gone. I will not let someone get away with harming you, Katrina. Come here. I need to relieve this built-up frustration. Desmond pulled her towards him, ripping the front of her nightdress. Katrina held on to him while he tried to lift her up, and then placed her on the bed. It's a pity I am not drunk to bear this, she thought. After all the years they had been married, Katrina always found their intimacy to be lacking. The pleasure had always been one-sided for her husband, who was not good in bed. She started to regret not sleeping with James last night to make up for what was to come shortly. My beautiful wife, Desmond mumbled against her bare skin as he lay on top of her. Pardon? A knock on the bedroom door interrupted the moment before it could get anywhere. Katrina couldn't have been more happy to hear Crystal's voice. We have to stop, Desmond. There is a lot I must do today. She gently pushed his body from on top of her. Another second of them in bed together, and she might have killed him right then and there. Alessandra, this is your new maid, Sally Winters. I have come to help you with your morning tasks, Sally said after knocking on the door. Her nerves were the highest they could be, and her hand shook from fear. But, as the butler said, this was better than working for Kate or being fired. Alessandra, did you refer to Kate by her name when you worked as her personal maid? Alessandra questioned right as she opened the door. She was curious to know who was calling her name until she remembered she asked for a maid. Am I not worthy of having a proper title? That's... Sally bowed her head out of shame and to avoid looking at Alessandra's cursed face. Alessandra stepped to the side to give space for Sally. Come inside. She knew it wasn't going to be easy to get anyone to be by her side without thinking of the rumors. Alessandra didn't understand why people truly believed looking at her face would make anyone become cursed and then die shortly. Alessandra closed the door behind Sally to avoid anyone listening to their conversation. Are you going to continue staring at the floor? I don't think there's anything interesting about it. If there is, please tell me. Alessandra looked down at the floor to find what was so interesting for Sally to stare there instead of looking up. Are you afraid to meet my eyes, Sally? That would make it really hard for you to work for me. I don't need someone who will be scared of me. You can return to Kate. Wait! Sally exclaimed. Working for Kate again was something she could not do. Are you truly not cursed? Are you cursed? Alessandra threw the question back to Sally. How do I know I won't be cursed if I look at your face? There are rumors that if someone stays too close to you, their house will fall, just like your one did. It is false, Sally yelled defensively. I don't know where you heard such a thing. My family's misfortune was caused by bad decisions, and there is nothing cursed about us. Where did you hear this? I made it up just now. Alessandra walked to her window to look out at the workers hurrying off to their jobs. However, if I keep mentioning this lie, it will keep spreading to everyone, and surely they'll believe it. You cannot do that. It will ruin my life more than it already is. Sally did not want Alessandra to do this. Isn't that too much of a punishment because I didn't look you in the eye? It's just that you, like many others, believe the lies passed around about me. I've heard guests telling my father that if the entire town believes I'm cursed, it must be true. People in this town love gossip, and rather than finding the truth, they'd rather believe a lie. I'm not cursed, but if you do not believe me, please leave. I have no plans to keep someone who is afraid of me. Sally stood still, contemplating her options. Kate was the devil trapped in a young girl's body, but there were many rumors surrounding Alessandra. The only saving grace for Alessandra would be Edgar, and once they were wed, everyone would change what they said about her to be on the Duke's good side. I apologize for my earlier behavior. Please, give me the chance to make it up to you. Sally lifted her head to look at Alessandra by the window. An opportunity presented itself for her to work for a future duchess, which meant she had to overcome her fear of getting cursed by Alessandra. Very well. Showing you my face will be your first test. Alessandra grinned as a faint gasp from Sally was heard. The girl was too easy to scare, which would be a bad thing in the future. Alessandra needed people by her to help maneuver around people who would start showing up in front of her once her engagement to the Duke would be announced. There would be new enemies, people looking to use her, and those wishing to be her friend. She needed an extra person to help her keep an eye on these people. If that is what you want. Sally played with her nails to calm her nerves. No one knew what the other side of Alessandra's face looked like. The half you could see was certainly beautiful, but the other half, hidden away behind the mask, outshined what could be seen. Everyone feared what they would see if Alessandra were to ever remove her mask. Some people claimed there would be a mark from the devil, or maybe her face had melted away. You passed. Alessandra walked past Sally to the corner where she had her things packed up for when the Duke would arrive tomorrow. But I didn't see your face. I was only teasing you. Kind of expected you to run, but your determination to never work for Kate again is keeping you motivated, Alessandra said. You know, I picked you because of what happened in Kate's bedroom yesterday. I saw the look on your face while Kate lay there helpless. You picked me because you know I don't like Kate. Am I only here to tell you Kate's secrets? Or be the one to get revenge on her in your place? Sally did not want to get involved in either of those things. If Kate were to ever find out Sally told Alessandra her secrets, Kate would do everything she could to ruin Sally. No, I picked you because I know you wouldn't willingly run back to Kate to tell her everything I'm doing because you fear her. You'll have to avoid her since you witnessed me throwing shit on her. Alessandra knew Kate well enough to know she would be out for blood when it came to Sally. Kate did not like being embarrassed, and all those who witnessed the embarrassment would be on her list. I don't want anyone by my side who will hang around Kate. When I leave here, I want nothing to do with Kate. If I ever find out you secretly met with her, I will not keep you. Alessandra did not want to concern herself with Kate when she was no longer living here. The moment she stepped foot out the door to go live with the Duke, her ties to Kate and Katrina would be severed. It would only be her father she wanted to get back at for abandoning her all these years. I will never go back by her side. I promise. Working under Kate made me feel like an animal. She kept
belittling and hitting me even when I did not make a mistake. I will tell you one thing since you saved me. Kate no longer seems worried about you being engaged to the Duke, which is odd considering how much she's obsessed with him, Sally revealed. One moment Kate had been visibly upset about the engagement, but then she kept smiling as if something good happened. Kate isn't the type to sit by while others take what she thinks belongs to her, and the Baroness gives her daughter whatever she wants. I am always meant to be near Kate, and when she was supposed to dig the grave for your kitten, the Baron and Baroness went to speak with her. Sally figured this information would be useful since this all happened right after the Duke left. Alessandra was glad Sally mentioned this. She found it weird her family had not once come to convince her to turn down the Duke's proposal. Other than their dislike of her roaming the house as she pleased, they all seemed awfully calm. They talked about something while I wasn't around. We must have a plan to break my engagement to the Duke, but I have no idea what it is. Alessandra had an unsettling feeling concerning the last day she would be with her family. It might be a good idea to avoid them for now. Sally, bring enough food and drink to last the both of us through this day. She gave Sally her first task. Alessandra preferred to hide away in her room than to walk around, expecting her family not to do anything foolish when it was possible they would. Yes, my lady, Sally replied before hurrying off to do as she was told. Alessandra placed her hand on her chest, trying to calm down her body to get rid of what she was feeling. She hoped Edgar had someone watching her home, just in case her family might try to get rid of her. Please let this one day go by smoothly. When Sally returned with the food and drinks, the door would be locked until the Duke arrived. Hey, lady, don't you think it's time we stepped out of the room to stretch your feet? No one has come looking for you. Sally had long grown tired of sitting around in Alessandra's bedroom, doing nothing the entire day. The silence was unbearable. From breakfast to near the time for dinner, Alessandra made the two of them stay locked away in her room. Sally regretted telling Alessandra what she saw. Aren't you bored? She asked. Have you already forgotten I spent many years locked away in my bedroom? I am beyond the point of feeling bored. I told you there are books you can read, or you could paint one of my canvases, Alessandra said whilst laying on her bed with her eyes closed. Your books are not entertaining, and I do not know how to paint, Sally replied. You do not have to be good at painting to do it. You only need a vision, paint, brush, and canvas. Sally smacked her face with her hand, feeling defeated once again. Can I at least get dinner for us? The fruits and pastries I brought are nice, but you need something proper to fill you up. I don't want the Duke to have my head for not properly feeding his fiancée. I am the one who told you to stay put. The Duke cannot get mad at you for it. At least, I don't think he will. My lady? Sally looked at Alessandra in disbelief. The Duke's temper is nothing you can predict when he is upset. Are you aware he lifted your father into the air at the party? Alessandra's eyes flew open upon hearing this. What? Why would he do that? Sally shrugged, unsure of the reason behind Edgar's actions. No one was able to hear a lot of their conversation, but the crazy thing is, it seemed like your father apologized to the Duke afterward. Wow, Alessandra said, amazed by the Duke even more. I heard he could do whatever he wanted, but this is beyond my imagination. Isn't he cool? Cool? Sally tilted her head slightly, confused by why the word cool was used. I agree that in some aspects the Duke is cool, but I wouldn't use it to describe him embarrassing your father out of the blue. You should never forget that Edgar Collins is a dangerous man. Don't let his handsome face fool you.
Alessandra remained silent, not wanting to explain to Sally that a dangerous man was what she had always wanted. A man her father could not go against. If only she could have witnessed her father getting embarrassed by the Duke.
Alessandra!
It's your father!
Sally gasped, afraid the man might have heard what she said. It was weird timing for him to arrive now.
Should I open the door?
She stood up from her seat.
No.
Alessandra sat up. She had to trust her gut feeling and not do anything foolish.
Sit back down,
she ordered Sally while she stood up. Alessandra walked to the door, but did not open it.
What do you need, Father? It is almost time for dinner to be served. Do you not plan to come out and eat with your family?
Desmond's muffled voice asked on the other side of the door.
I am going to eat in my bedroom tonight. My maid will bring food for the both of us. You can go back now,
Alessandra replied. Walk away, walk away, walk away, she chanted over and over in her head. Her father never liked her being at the table for dinner after she started wearing a mask. He didn't bat an eye when Katrina said she was no longer welcomed at the table. Even though Edgar might have threatened him, Alessandra knew her father wouldn't care about her enough to push for her to eat dinner with the rest of them like a family.
Does it make sense for you to not eat dinner with us? Come on!
The doorknob started to shake as Desmond twisted it on the other side.
Everyone is waiting for you to come to the table. You always wanted to sit with us. Why are you letting this moment pass by when this will be your last night here?
Alessandra slowly backed away from the door, knowing she had to get out of here somehow. He was pushing too hard for her to come out.
Sally, tie the sheets on my bed as quickly as you can. Enough that they can reach from my window to the ground,
she whispered so her father wouldn't be alerted.
I'd rather stay in my room tonight, Father. I need to be prepared for when the Duke arrives tomorrow. I cannot keep him waiting.
You cannot marry the Duke, Alessandra. The two of you are not suited for one another. I have found a man who wishes to marry you. He speaks highly of you. Open your door so we can talk about it.
Desmond twisted the doorknob once more.
I am only going to marry Edgar Collins. The proposal has already been accepted.
Alessandra looked back at Sally as she spoke. The sheets were being tied triple to ensure that they wouldn't become loose when she started to use them. She only needed to distract her father a while longer.
It has not been announced to the public yet. You are not one to enjoy attention on you, Alessandra. It's better for you to marry the man I picked. Come out and talk with me.
I said I am going to stay in my room tonight. I'm going to marry the Duke.
Ah! Alessandra flinched when the door was smacked.
Alessandra, stop getting on my nerves and do as I say. It is not up for debate. Come out right now before I break this door down.
It is done, Sally called to Alessandra.
She tied the sheets to Alessandra's table and lowered them out the window.
I didn't know what else to tie it to. Shouldn't you just go out to your father? It's best to open the door. You've worked here long enough to know nothing good will come from me opening that door. Hold on to the sheet because that table won't stay still. Now,
Alessandra yelled when Sally wouldn't move. It wouldn't be long before her father got his hands on the key to open her door. Alessandra placed one foot out of the window and then the other.
This is a bad idea,
she repeated as she held on to the tied sheets.
This was your bad idea,
Sally wanted her to remember. If anything happened to Alessandra, she would be punished. On her first day as Alessandra's maid, she would be punished for letting Alessandra jump out a window. She had to save herself.
I'm sorry. I have to open the door. No, wait.
Alessandra's words were cut off as she fell the moment Sally released the sheets. The table was dragged towards the window as it wasn't strong enough to stay in place, with Alessandra suddenly falling.
Alessandra!
Sally yelled as she realized her grave mistake. She looked out the window, hoping Alessandra had not hurt herself, and luckily, Alessandra was still hanging onto the sheets. She had not fallen far enough to hit the ground.
Goodness, I'm sorry. I did not want to get into trouble.
And you thought potentially letting me fall to my death would save you? Alessandra glared at Sally. She could have fallen flat on the ground had she not been holding onto the sheets. Alessandra took deep breaths to calm down her breathing. It was partially her fault for thinking Sally wouldn't get scared and try to open the door.
Alessandra!
Desmond exclaimed, entering the room in search of his daughter.
Where is she?
He yelled at Sally as she was the only one in the room. His eyes followed her nervous gaze down to what looked to be a rope in her hands.
Alessandra!
He ran to the window, realizing what his daughter had done. Desmond shoved Sally to the side to get a good look out the window. This action caused Sally to release the sheets the moment she was pushed.
Alessandra! Do not run away from me. James?
He turned to the butler, who had been the one to open Alessandra's door with the keys he carried around.
Stop her from leaving. Yes, Baron.
James left the room in a hurry to search for Alessandra.
You useless...
Desmond raised his hand to slap Sally, but held himself back, since getting Alessandra was more important. Rowan was already here to collect Alessandra, and if she were to escape, Rowan would detain him on sight.
I'll deal with you later.
He gritted his teeth, leaving to find Alessandra. Meanwhile, Alessandra sat up from the ground after she made the decision to slide down the sheets, not caring if she might fall. Inevitably, she ended up colliding into a branch from the tree right outside her window, injuring her arm as she crashed against it when the sheets began to swing her around as she slid down. As fear took over her body, Alessandra was unaware of the pain in her arm or the pain coming from stepping on fallen twigs and rocks as she was barefoot. Her mask slipped off from her face, but like everything else, Alessandra paid no attention to it. Alessandra began to run towards the gates as it would be her way of escaping her father. Alessandra resembled a ghost running in the night as her dark hair and white dress blew around in the cold air. She never once looked back to see if there was anyone running after her. Alessandra only had her eyes set on the gate.
My lady, please stop running.
James called out to her from the front door when he spotted her running from the right side of the home towards the gates. Alessandra began to slow down when she stumbled across an unfamiliar carriage blocking her path to go towards the gates. She ran to her right to avoid whoever was in the carriage, since it might be the person her father wanted to marry her off to.
Alessandra!
Her father's yelling could be heard not too far behind her. Alessandra picked up her pace, but the moment she passed by the other side of the carriage, she laid eyes on a man twirling a dagger around his fingers. He smiled when he looked up and saw her running past him.
Where are you going, little one? Master won't be happy if you get away.
Rowan began chasing after Alessandra. He knew he should not have trusted the Baron to bring his daughter quietly. Alessandra ran as fast as she could towards the gates. Unfortunately, Rowan was much faster and tackled her to the ground when he became within an arm's reach of her.
Get off me!
She kicked her legs to get away from him.
You're lucky the master does not want to scratch on you. But from the look of your face, he is already too late.
Rowan grinned, pinning her down to the ground by holding down her hands.
Scream more. It entices me. Get off!
Alessandra continued to kick at him as she tried her best to wiggle her hands from out of his grasp.
Good, you got her.
Desmond hunched over, panting. He was too old to be chasing after anyone.
Hurry up and take her. I will send her things to you in one of my carriages. Why did you have to make things difficult for yourself, Alessandra? James, find her mask.
My mask! Alessandra stopped struggling when reality hit her. Everyone could see her face.
Take me back inside now. I am going to marry the Duke,
she yelled, continuing to put up a fight against the man pinning her down.
I told you there is another man for you. Do not make me have to hit you, Alessandra. I have refrained from being that kind of man for a long time.
When? Alessandra interrupted her father. I saw it with my own eyes when you hit a woman. You did it to my mother. Stop trying to act like a good man.
You little
Desmond raised his hand.
This is a nice family moment, but my master is waiting for her,
Rowan said. He roughly pushed Alessandra's hands together, creating bruises on her skin from moving her hands against the small stones on the ground.
If you kick me one more time, I shall drive my dagger into your neck. My master doesn't care if you are alive or dead. You are only meant to be added to his collection.
Tears formed in Alessandra's eyes, as the stranger's words didn't sound like she was being sent to wed someone. Being added to a collection sounded like something sinister. Rowan smiled, seeing the tears start to fall from her eyes. He always enjoyed the moment his victims realized their fate. He wanted to taunt her some more, to see her shed more tears. But he needed to leave quickly to avoid being seen by anyone else. She had already made too much noise with her screaming.
Aaron, open the door right now,
Rowan ordered Desmond.
You were supposed to have her well-dressed and prepared to be taken. Is there nothing you can do right?
Desmond clenched his fist, tempted to punch Rowan. It was not like he expected Alessandra to be so daring to jump out of her window. How did she even know what was going to happen?
I didn't expect her to.
His voice died down when the sound of another carriage entering his home was heard. Desmond squinted his eyes, trying to get a look at the flag at the front of the carriage to see who was visiting him so late without any notice.
Oh no.
His eyes widened when the symbol of a falcon came into view when the carriage stopped.
It's Edgar. What am I supposed to do?
He looked to Rowan for help.
Why are you looking at me for answers?
Rowan asked while releasing Alessandra. He was not here to create any problems with the Duke.
You are her father. You get the final say in who she marries. Do it quickly.
That is easier said than done.
Desmond was on the verge of shitting himself. Edgar was not meant to come for Alessandra until tomorrow morning, so why was he here now? Had he been watching their house this entire time? Desmond gulped, watching the carriage door slowly open and Edgar step outside. Edgar's eyes were fixated on Alessandra.
Duke, Edgar, what brings you here at this time?
Edgar ignored Desmond for now. He approached Alessandra, stooping down to check her condition. Her hands covered her face, probably to hide it from him. There were scratches along her arm. Her dress was dirty, and she was not even wearing shoes.
Come with me, Alessandra.
He gently placed his hands under her thighs and back to lift her up. Desmond took a step back, pointing at Edgar to stop him.
Where do you think you're taking her? She is to marry someone else.
Edgar took Alessandra back to his carriage, carefully placing her in the seat in case she had injuries he could not see.
How are you here?
Alessandra questioned. She found his timing to be weird.
How did he know she was desperately wishing for him to arrive?
You rejected the first ring I brought to you. There is a skilled man in your neighborhood I had making the new one. I was on my way back from collecting it when I saw the commotion in front of your home. Good girl.
Edgar ran his hand through a strand of her hair to remove pieces of grass. It seemed like she was running towards the gates to escape. Had she not done this, when he was passing by, Edgar would not have seen anything odd and kept going home. Edgar took off his coat and placed it over Alessandra's head to help hide her face. Once he did this, she pulled the sides of the coat to hide her face and looked away from him. Edgar reached for his sword, sitting on the other side of the carriage while she was not looking at him.
Do you care for your father, Alessandra?
He asked, unsheathing his sword as he awaited her answer. It sounded like an innocent question, but Alessandra knew what he was implying. If she said no, then her father would not live another day. If you harm my father, the town guards will question you.
You are to be my wife, Alessandra. No one, not even the king himself, could disrespect you and get away with it while I am still alive. Tell me your answer. Do you care for him?
Edgar gripped his sword tighter, ready to kill both men for what they had done to her. I do not, Alessandra replied.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.
Pocket FM. To unlock all the episodes, click the link in bio.